we got to end this segment on a funny note, courtesy of Tim Scott.
No.
Press play.
You believe the black community will come out for Trump this November?
I have never seen the type of enthusiasm for a Republican presidential candidate that I'm seeing right now for President Donald Trump. 40% of African-American men are willing to vote for President Trump. Why? Because they had more money in their pockets, we had more law and order in the streets, and we had a greater future for our kids. Listen, President Trump is a president that says every child in every zip code deserves a quality education. President Trump is a president who says every neighborhood deserves more police, not defund the police, but let's refund, respect, and have our officers where they're needed the most. We, as a people, the American people, love that. But African Americans are devastated by migrant crime. We're seeing African American kids staying home from school in New York City so they can put illegal immigrants in the schools. We're watching Colorado and Denver specifically zero out paychecks so illegal immigrants can have more money. That's devastating poor communities. President Trump stands with a backbone and says, not on my watch.
That boy need to be enrolled into the NFL's concussion protocol program.
My goodness.
At best.
Congo, if he actually ain't you can't find a Twitter poll that's showing 4% of black men gonna vote for Donald Trump. He is the
no way.
I don't know what the hell. I don't know what I'm telling you right now. They need to issue pass the cup to him and Lindsey Graham, because clearly both South Carolina senators are high as hell.
They got something going on. There's something in the water. I don't know. And the fact that they can just get up and just boldly say these things, and these commentators or these hosts or so-called hosts, they just buy it because it goes along with their propaganda. Wow. And he just said it so confidently that with no citation whatsoever. And this is the type of stuff that he's going to continue to say, that Trump's going to continue to say as they pump the sneakers, as they put out the fake images. And this is why, going back to the top of the show tonight, this is why the investment in black media is so important, because you need to have real people who represent black media countering these narratives with actual facts, with actual posters, with actual surveys, with actual studies, and actual scholars and activists who do this work. And Tim Scott demonstrates none of that, and no one on any of these shows is ever going to ask him about it either, and it's a shame.
2 words for him, Julian. Boy, bye.
That is the biggest fool I've ever seen, but we know that. I mean, he's about as right as he is straight. In other words, he's just lying. He doesn't mind lying. Good for the network that have the facts behind him, which said that 27%, not 40%, of black folks were inclined. And understand this, Trump inclined does not mean Trump voter. We still have 6 months in this election. We don't know what is going to happen in these next 6 months. Here's what we do know. Tim Scott is bojangling for a possibility to be vice president. He is dancing like Mr. Bojangles, but it ain't going to work. Well, it might work. But basically, he is a buffoon. He's always been a buffoon, but his buffoonery right now is on high steroids.
That was just silly, Teresa.
It was, but I also think we should pay attention to the fine print of that poll. It was a Fox News poll. And, we're not sure where the substance of that was coming from. But outside of, who they were getting their polling location from, but it could have been their base. And their base with, black Americans in it probably is in its totality, 30%. So I don't see that is a wrong number.
If it's 30% of their base, hell, they got a real big problem.
Well, exactly.
That means 70% of their own base voting for Biden.
Exactly. And that's why, when they have these little tactics of the Trump sneakers selling out for $12,000 and such, Again, this is a ploy so the Biden and the Democratic Party can focus on the Black community, which we do need to focus on, but Black men, I don't believe, is the focus. I think the focus is all the other issues that we talked about today. But, with Tim Scott, all I think about when I see him is his ad commercial of, from cotton field to Congress and him standing in the middle of the field like he, raped the grass. So it's just interesting.
Every time I see Tim Scott talk, all I see him going, I love you. When he told Trump, I just love you. Ooh, Lord.